well. Australia's economy might not be in recession, not yet at least, but Deloitte Access Economics says the retail industry is already there. As interest rates and inflation rise, pressure now is on households and their spending, and things are likely to deteriorate from here. Deloitte Access Economics put out its latest retail trends survey today, and its senior partner, David Rumbens, joins me now. David, thanks for your time. Can you just explain how bad would you expect things to get before they turn around?
Look, things are pretty bad at the moment for the retail sector. We've seen that sales overall in real terms, or once you exclude inflation, are lower than they were September last year. So we've gone over 6 months going backwards. That's particularly true for the non-discretionary part of retail. The more discretionary part of retail, the non-food sector. Sales are down nearly 4% in real terms over that time. So, overall, the economy may not be in recession, but there's parts of the economy that are already really struggling, particularly that part of retail. And it looks like, the next few months are still going to be pretty tight.
The National Accounts yesterday indicated that discretionary spending is really coming off in a big way. You could see that the consumption, really almost the volume of goods is down, even though the spending is pretty stagnant across it. I guess until you see some sort of sign that interest rates are going to start to come off, that's going to be the ongoing picture for quite some time.
Absolutely. I mean, it's one of the main buffers that households have. They can reduce their more discretionary spending when they're facing the rising cost of living. Many households are facing very high increases in their mortgages, rising rents now. Gas and electricity prices are high. There's not too many buffers they can turn to. So discretionary spending is coming down. We're also seeing savings coming down. So the savings rate is now the lowest rate in a decade. So people are using up their buffers. They're saving less. They're cutting back on their retail goods spending where they can. It's likely that that'll broaden somewhat, and we'll see some cutbacks on travel, entertainment, those kind of discretionary services as well, because we know that there's more ammunition in the system. There's more impact from the rate rises that we've seen to date still to come through.
But one thing that you see as normalising, and I know that there will be numbers out tomorrow of the number of people coming in and out of the country, is the increase in migration ultimately does filter through to retailers. And this will perhaps be one of the things that might overcome some of the weak spending from the people who are already here.
Look, absolutely. And to be honest, it's supported retail over the past 6 months, the fact we've had strong population growth already. So the retail figures would be worse, but for that. Now, if we look to next year, we're likely to still see, a strong further rebound in population. Particularly in the next few months, more international students coming back for semester 2 study. That will help. And you're right, Ross. Once we get to the point where interest rates have peaked, and consumers have maybe some knowledge that it's not going to get any worse, then we might see overall confidence start to rise a bit.
But that being the case, you might have a gap or, a period where those retailers have to survive. Just talking to some insolvency practitioners over the past couple of days, they're particularly concerned about construction and building. But I would have thought with these sort of numbers, there would have to be some genuine concern about retailers, particularly small and medium-sized retailers, actually surviving, getting through this period if the sales simply dry up.
Look, construction is the canary in the coal mine with interest rates. That's the resi construction is the area that's been affected the most. But retail, and particularly the more discretionary area of retail, is next. And we're already going through a period where sales in real terms are going backwards. Retailers are starting to discount. That's one thing that we did see in the retail data in the last few months. Price growth in retail is starting to come down. So it's that pressure of a tighter environment. People are looking to contract their margins. And look, for some retailers, there's only so long that you can do that. And we will see an increased rate of business failure. It's kind of part and parcel of a very sharp tightening in interest rates and rapid deceleration of the economy.
And the reality we're seeing from some economists is potentially as many as 3 more rate rises from the Reserve Bank before they level it off and feel as though they've done their job on inflation. And that clearly is of concern, particularly those who might have just survived through the COVID lockdowns, now got their heads just above water and suddenly get plunged down back underwater again.
Yeah, look, there may well be more. I mean, the Reserve Bank wants to head off, expectations of inflation. It wants to, I guess, remove the psychology that inflation is going to keep it at a high rate. So it's pushing on. I would say there's a fair bit of ammunition already in the system from what they've done that still has to translate through. So it takes a little while for the effect of higher rates to flow through to mortgage payments, particularly those who've been on fixed loans. It then takes a while for people to adjust their behaviour, so that people are running down their savings first. So there's still some of that transition to come through just from the rate rises that we've seen so far.
I'll tell you what, David Rumbens, always good to have in the program, and many thanks for your time today.